Hi, it's Matt from Tableflip Games, and in this video we're going to look at the merge tool and look at how we can optimize some of the mesh. So let's get started. So the next tool I'm going to introduce you to is called the bevel tool, and what this does is it adds a bevel to the side of any 3D object. Now this could be different scale, it can add multiple extrusions in there as well to make it softer, and most objects tend to have this bevel. And what it's going to do for these drawers is it's going to add this kind of natural seam that you would see in a drawer in between them. So I'm just going to hold V to reset these back into place. Okay. So if I double click, it won't select the whole edge loop, but if I press Control, if I go two edges, is it? No. Actually, I'm just going to isolate this selection. So if I select the object and go in here, I can just isolate that selection and look at it. So if I grab the edges, now this edge loop does it, but for this outer one it won't do it. So if I hold Shift and left click, it will select multiple edges. And then if I hit bevel, you'll notice that it's now beveled that edge. Now that's a bit too extreme, so if we unisolate, yeah, it's a bit too extreme, that is. So I press Ctrl Z then. So I'm just going to change this down to say, I'm going to select it and go 0.2. Yeah. If I take the wireframe off, you'll notice, get it there. If we unhide it, you'll notice, yeah, you start to get this crease. So I'm going to do the same again for this one. So select all the edges that I want to bevel. Now I'm not beveling this edge because I don't want to. I don't know whether I did it on... Oh, I did, yeah. Sorry. Let's just undo that. And by standard, Maya can undo up to 50, I think it is. So just be careful with that. You can change it in the settings, if I remember where that is. Do you know how we could be here all day? I'll show it in another video. So I'm going to actually select these edges this time. Okay, and then hold Shift, right mouse button, bevel. Now, again, you could bevel it from up here as well. It's under Edit Mesh, he says. There. So all these tools are found in these three menus here, but I always use Shift, right mouse button, and then select the tool. So I'm just going to put this at 0.2. Okay, get a nice, you see how it's not this harsh 90-degree angle, it's this, got this slight bevel on it at like 45 degrees. And it's just going to create these natural crevices inside of here. I'm going to do the same, just select this button here. I'm being very careful that I don't select any other edges. And I'm going to do the same, so bevel, 0.2. Start to get that nice crease. Now I could, if I wanted to, add more divisions. So if I bevel, I can change how many segments I have. So this is like 0.6, so we can see it. I can change the segments. So we could have 6 segments, which, if we look at that, then it's got this really round thing, which is not what we want for this one. So undo that, just go back to bevel. So 0.2, keep it at 1, there you go. Now the other way of doing that would have been if I just like maybe deleted that, duplicated it, and then pulled it up like that. Could have got away with it. You can see you get that natural crease. And it's just like building a flat pack piece of furniture. One of the first things I get my students to do is build a piece of furniture from IKEA from 2D plans, because it's the best way to translate from 2D to 3D, is looking at plans. Okay. So the next tool we're going to look at is something called the Append Polygon tool. So to do that, firstly, we're going to actually build. So if we look at this, we're going to build one of these handles. Now, we could put this in the normal map, but it sticks out too much, so it would look wrong. So we need geometry for it. And if the player was interacting with it, they would want to grab the hands around it, pull out, that sort of thing. And if it was a normal map flat against the this thing here, it wouldn't look right. So let's grab the square. Let's move it, and I'm just going to go into the front view. I'm going to shape it. So I pressed R on the keyboard to use the scale tool. That's roughly how I want it. Yep. And what I'm going to do is select the back face. I'm just going to extrude it. And again. Now, if I just do this again, so if I go extrude, and if I was just to scale from the center, you see how it's not even? So, and also as well, it might not be straight. So if you select all the vertices, hold, press R and hold J. If you drag this into the center, this one here, it will straighten your UVs, and I'll show you that in a minute. And I'm just going to extrude again. And then let's do some bevels. I'm going to bevel the whole thing. Now, because this is going to be inside of here, you're not going to see that face, this face here. So we can actually delete it. And remember, Control S to save. I'm just going to bevel this. Oh, hello. Okay, something's wrong. Like, it's 20 verts. So that normally means there's something gone wrong. So if I show you the new tool, a new tool called Merge, we can actually merge the vertices together. Do you notice how it went from 20 to 16? So it means there was some verts sitting on top of other verts, not doing anything. And again, that can be found under Edit Mesh Merge. If, for example, say I try and merge these two verts, it will merge them. Okay, so just be careful. And if you want to reset the tool, Edit, Reset Settings, and you can change the threshold of what it is. So let's try and bevel this again. There you go, you can see that it beveled first time. Okay, and there we go, there's the handle. And I'm just going to intersect that in. I'm not going to join it up because it's going to have a nice AO, ambient occlusion here. Actually, we can see ambient occlusion. So if we go up to Options and Viewport, so I think I was having trouble in my last video with the graphics card. It turns out that by default, my graphics card is defaulting to the Intel built-in, and yes, I've tried to change the NVIDIA settings. I've deleted all the drivers, reinstalled them, done everything, and it still doesn't work. So I'm just having to deal with it at the moment. So I do apologize for any stutters in the actual thing. So I'm just going to turn on Screen Space Ambient Occlusion, and you can see because it's intersecting, we get this this dark patch, which is a shadow. But if we move this out, you can see we still get it here as well, which is cool. So sometimes it's because it would be more polygons if I was to try and connect this up together, so it's just easier just to intersect it. Gone are the days where we need to make sure all of our geometry flows, especially for hard surface stuff. So I'm just going to duplicate these. Okay, so I've got my drawers. Just going to cancel that. So the next thing I wanted to show you was the append polygon tool. So for example, say I had a gap inside of here, so that's not good because we'll be able to see inside it, it'll be all screwed up in the engine. So I want to fix that. So if I go to Shift right mouse button and go to append polygon with the object selected, I can click an edge, click another edge and press G, and that will accept it. So I can fill geometry. So for example, if there was a hole here as well. Now this tool doesn't work 100% of the time. Sometimes you would need to maybe grab the edge, extrude it, and then hold V to snap it down to there. But the polygon fill tool is quite a good tool if it works on your mesh and your mesh isn't too complicated. So for example, let's append the polygon in here. And then press G, and there you go, or enter, one of the two. Now, if you select an edge and then say select down there, you know that's wrong. Like, yeah, that is wrong, so just be careful with that. Hold G. And if you press Q, it will cancel the last tool you used, and that's one way of fixing those sort of things. Now, the next tool I wanted to show you is the merge tool, which I've already kind of showed you on this. But I want to clean up this mesh because at the moment these lines aren't really needed, so we can actually clean them up. The way we do that is if I just isolate this. Now when you're cleaning up lines, you need to make sure that your geometry doesn't change. So for example, if I was to delete these two lines, it would be an n-gon, so it'd be 1, 2 here. So you need to be careful of that. So, and also as well, when you're deleting lines, say if I wanted to delete this line, if I just press delete, the problem with it is the vertices are still going to be in place. So this is something that you need to be careful of. So the way to get rid of it properly is if you press Control Delete, and that will delete the vertices. Now, what I can do is, if I select that edge and hold V, I can start to snap those into a point. Okay, like that. Now the problem with that is that these vertices are not merged. So if we highlight over that one, you can see there's 4 vertices where there should only be 1. Same with here. Ooh. Make sure you don't select any. So what we can do is select the vertices, Shift, right mouse button, merge vertice, and that will merge it, and now we've only got 2. 1, 2. The other thing we could do is merge to center. There you go. And hold G to repeat that. And that's one way of doing it. Or we could use the target weld. So with the object selected, Shift, right mouse button, target weld. And that automatically welds them. So the merge vertice, merge to center, and the target weld automatically welds these together. So you can see you can quickly start to clean up this thingy. And these lines are just construction lines. They don't change anything. So they can be cleaned up. Like, you don't want to leave them in. It's pointless. Like, did that change the silhouette? No. So get rid of it. Maybe not do that. And then just with this one, I'm going to hold G to repeat this. And I'm holding Shift to select these. And then you can even hold V to snap it to the vert. And then what I tend to do is just select all the verts and then just do one final merge vertice. And then there you go. Went down from 41 to 40, but there was still a object there. And you can see it's a lot more cleaner than the one we had before. It's the same size as the Blue Peter. The only difference is I have done it to there, so if I really wanted to, I could take these lines, merge them down to down there. Okay. I'm going to delete the history on that as well. So the next step is going to be actually building the tabletop bit, which is quite easy. And then we'll build this. And then what we can do with this one is we can group it, rotate it, and put it over here. And then we should be ready to actually UV the thing. In the next video, we're going to look at Maya's multi-cut tool, as well as finishing off modeling this desk. So I'll see you in the next video. If you like this video and want to see more, we have a range of videos on our YouTube channel covering topics from programming to art, and eventually we will have animation tutorials on this site. If you'd like to support us, you can subscribe and like. And if you want to have early access to these videos, have a say on what topics are covered, and also have access to the source code and art assets from this series and other series, please visit our Patreon. The link is in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week with a new video.